typical to all of Central Texas, a lot of severe weather, and we told you about that in the last hour of Good Morning Texas. Altogether, 402 storm reports for Limestone County, and that does include 28 tornadoes since 1880. But one tornado in particular is important to think about when it comes to Limestone County. So in December of 2006, there was a rare winter weather outbreak that was spawning nearly 24 tornadoes across north and central Texas. An F2 tornado formed near Caussey, spanning 400 yards and stayed on the ground for about 20 miles. And along with doing significant damage to trees and structures, it killed several livestock. It actually struck a home right along CR 635, killing an 80-year-old man and injuring several others. Now, with this severe weather event, again, this was back in December of 2006, nearly 60 homes and businesses were damaged in Limestone County, and the governor designated a disaster area. So we're expecting rain and even a few storms today in Limestone County and really all across central Texas as a cold front makes its way into the region later this morning. So for more on that, we'll send it back to meteorologist Felicia Woody in the studio.
Well, thank you for that, Erin. We are looking at sub-severe conditions, which is good. That means we're not expecting the severe weather for today, but we could be seeing a few storms. I do want to give a traffic update for those who are heading northbound on I-35. There is a little bit of a slowdown in the construction area just outside of McLean Stadium. Now, temperatures, this is where it's going to be the warmest for the entire day because it's actually going to get cooler once that colder air starts ushering in. But right now we are still hanging on to the low and mid 60s across the area. And we are seeing rain from San Saba up through Bell, even into McLennan and up towards Hill County at the moment. As we turn on the HD radar, you can see that we do have some heavier downpours, especially in San Saba County and even up towards Bosque and Hill County. Let's go ahead and take a little bit more in depth. We still do have that outflow boundary going in just a little bit. That means it's sucking the energy out of the big batch of rain, but there is still a couple of downpours still trying to form right behind it in Bell County, so just south of Temple. Maybe some rain there along I-35 at the moment. About to see some shower activity along I-14, so if you are headed out in Harker Heights and Killeen, get ready for some moderate downpours. We are tracking some lightning actually in southern San Saba County at the most, so just south of actual San Saba, the town. And as we look up towards the north, we are looking at Bosque and Hill County, some light to moderate downpours as well, but no lightning being detected within that. So like I was saying, the temperatures are going to be dropping. We're in the 60s. We're going to go down into the 50s here within the next couple of hours. And then we're looking at temperatures falling into the 40s already by the time the sun is about to set. Now, the better chances for those showers and storms are actually going to be later on today in the afternoon and evening, where we start to get a little bit more of the development of those showers and storms. And also that wind is expected to be kicking up as well. In terms of how much rain we could be seeing, it looks like by the time this is all said and done by tomorrow, about a ½ inch to an inch of rain, maybe a little bit more in certain spots. But it looks like we should be drying out for this upcoming weekend, but then we're tracking another cold front with some rain for Monday.
The acting U.S. ambassador to Ukraine will be the first to testify publicly in the impeachment inquiry, telling millions of people what he told investigators. The president withheld hundreds of millions of dollars in military aid to the U.S. ally. Now, his transcript released Wednesday revealed he grew so concerned over the issue, he sent a rare cable to Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, but received no response. One Republican says none of the evidence points to corruption.
There are perfectly appropriate quid pro quos, and there are inappropriate quid pro quos.
This morning, there are new details about the president's actions just as the Ukraine story was starting to gain steam. Multiple sources telling ABC the president wanted Attorney General William Barr to hold a news conference to say that Trump didn't break any laws regarding that July call with Ukraine's president, but Barr declined. The first funerals will be held today for members of the American family allegedly killed by a drug cartel in northern Mexico on Monday. 3 mothers and 6 of their children were gunned down in SUVs while heading to a family function. The victims were all part of a fundamentalist Mormon sect. This morning, 2 former Twitter employees are accused of spying for Saudi Arabia. The men allegedly used their access at the social media giant to gather sensitive and personal information on critics of the Saudi regime. One of the men, a U.S. citizen, is already under arrest. He was allegedly paid $300,000 by a person identified only as Foreign Official 1 to gain users' private information. Now, according to prosecutors, the Saudi government recruited the men because the Saudi royal family grew frustrated by growing criticism of its leaders on social media. And more than a dozen business leaders in Killeen are making a trip out to Fort Hood this morning to better get to know our men and women in uniform. It's all part of the Killeen Chamber of Commerce's Leadership Academy, which is made up of business leaders around the area who are hoping to bridge the gap between Fort Hood and the people of Killeen.
I actually rent to a lot of military families, so it's good to know what they do on base. That way we can better serve them here off base.
Killeen leadership members will get to know the more than 30